Good morning, everyone. You're watching the Morning Strike. I'm your host, Night Strike, and I have my co-host here, Tony York. What's going on,
Hey,
Tony?
good morning, people. Not a fucking thing here. It's a weird ass weather day. We're getting kind of perpetual hazy sky from the Canadian wildfires all the way down here. Yet they worry about cars and shit causing fucking global warming. We don't get hazy skies from all the cars. We get it from fucking Canada burning. Uh, it just strikes me as fucking weird. They bitch about vehicle emissions, but it takes one fucking wildfire in Canada, and we don't even get sunshine.
Even
Plus,
though
it's
it
fucking
strikes you,
raining.
I had nothing to do with it. Just putting that out there.
That what strikes me as fucking high.
But yeah, uh, I had really bad rain yesterday, so I was out mowing the lawn, and then it started raining, and then it was fucking downpour. So the weather's not been kind lately.
Just barely sprinkling here, but it's enough to make the grass wet and make you a bitch because you get fucking wet up to the waist.
Yeah, you don't want to get that wet.
Because the fucking state's broke and they can't mow the fucking pathways in the forest. So walking up the fire lanes, you get soaked. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm out of here. Knives posted something on the main page that said that statistics and a research that was done by the Washington Post or something
And what's that,
found that
yesterday?
I, I don't know. I'd say so. Yeah. Found that only 18% of all gun crimes was done by guns that were handled by the people who owned them, gun owners. This is a great thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's
Whereas
18% of gun owners that
17% was a perpetrator carrying a firearm owned by someone else.
uh, 18% of us gun owners commit crimes with our guns. That's way too fucking high.
I would say it's more. It's probably more like 5 or 10%.
The percentage of concealed carry holders that do it's like, God, less than one. And it should be that way for all gun owners. So you stupid motherfuckers out there that are committing crimes with their guns, stop it.
So
I don't know how many of them is bogus, interactions with the
hold up.
cops.
This is particularly in the Pittsburgh area, though, in 2008. I'm looking at it right now.
I didn't delve into the specifics. I just saw the pie chart that showed 18% were.
I got. Tony saw the pictures. I got it.
18% were crimes committed by people who were carrying the guns that they owned. And, probably half of that would be people who got busted with the gun, and it wasn't a crime other than the fact that they were carrying the gun they shouldn't have been. Which, okay, that I won't, deride that because people should be able to carry a gun whenever the fuck they want to. But if you fuckers, 18% of you are out there robbing and shooting people and stupid shit like that, you're not helping the cause at all, you sick fuck.
Yeah. But this segues into my next our next topic, where I don't know if anybody's heard, but the Democratic candidate for the Texas governor race lost her department issued firearm. Okay, uh, you know, I'm sorry, but I hate to say this, but Lupe Valdez, uh, when she was Dallas County Sheriff, did not return her firearm. Apparently, she says it is likely the weapon. The report stated that it is likely the weapon was stolen or misplaced during Sheriff Valdez's moving transition. So, yeah, you know what kind of gun she lost? It was a Beretta 92 FS. How do you lose a fucking Beretta?
What it is.
Huh?
The same way you lose a fucking SIG or a fucking High Point. Stupid. But the problem with this whole thing is she thinks that all of us are that incompetent with the fucking gun. That's why they're so goddamn scared, because they think everybody's as fucking stupid as they are.
Yeah.
My Smith & Wesson stays with me every fucking day, every hour of the day. And when I go to bed at night, it goes with me.
Are you surprised that she's
never out of my reach?
Are you surprised that she's a proponent of gun control?
Well, no. That's what I say. They think that everybody's as stupid as they are.
Yep. Yep. But again, it's just it's sad that, you know, I really hope that she doesn't get elected, because that would be a disservice to Texas.
A Democrat getting governorship in Texas? I doubt it.
Well, they've been more purple lately.
In the cities, but only really Austin and Houston.
Right.
But still, you know, it's Texas.
It is
she
Texas.
Gets elected, somebody fucking lynch her. They still kill people down there for shit like that. Yay for Texas, by the way. We stand a great likelihood of getting J.B. Pritzker as our next governor. Who's just your typical fucking idiot leftist.
Yep.
Anyway, you know, the people like that make it hard to argue that there should be a fucking test before you can possess a gun.
That's true. Well, there should be.
Well, that goes against principles of everybody should be able to carry a gun. See, and I can't get there, you know, just because of that. I think anybody who's a legal citizen of this country should be able to have a fucking gun. If they're mentally unstable and it hasn't been found out yet, that's part of being free. You take that risk.
Yeah.
You know, because who's to fucking say who's not mentally fit to have a gun, you know?
Indeed. I mean, I can own firearms, and that's enough for me. But I don't want somebody who's a danger to themselves and everyone else owning firearms.
But until they do something, who's to say?
It's true. That's the unfortunate part. So, you know, there's weeding those people out is hard. You're not going to. So pretty much you're just gonna have to pick up after the fact on that. Unfortunately. It sucks, but it happens. It's gonna happen. You can't remove the crazy from someone without them doing something first.
See, and that's the whole argument against these red flag laws. You know, if somebody can say that you're a danger just because they're fucking pissed off at you and you're forced to prove that you're not, That is not the way law is supposed to work in this country. And that's why I could never, ever support shit like that without due process being involved. It has to be done by a judge. And when you're vindicated in this, the other motherfucker should have to pay all the goddamn costs.
I agree. So.
Plus face prosecution for false accusation. So, if they'll go that far with it, then I'm like, well, okay, I can see the red flag law in that particular circumstance. But it has to be, completely in line with due process. Plus, when the person is vindicated, there should be no cost to them financially at all. So the accuser should be forced to pay even lost work time and prosecuted for falsely accusing them.
All right, so let's move on because I'm getting depressed from this topic. Is there any good news around?
Nope. I mean, the thing that I brought up was supposed to be good news, but 18% is too fucking high.
It is. So it's not good news. I think I saw something earlier. Hold up. Here it is. A 15-year-old girl with a gun saves her family from a violent attacker threatening to kill them.
Has she been prosecuted yet?
No.
Oh, along those lines, and taking a completely left turn here, or right turn. Well, no, it's left.
It's left.
I was watching episode of Dragnet from like 1954 yesterday. My wife brought these things home, and I watched it. And Friday was questioning this woman who fit the description of someone who was attacking and shooting people, or not attacking. Well, yeah, attacking. She'd beat him and then shoot him, rob him. And this woman, they picked her up because she fit the description and she had a gun, a legitimately owned Colt 38 Super 1911. And she had the license. She registered a gun with California, like she's supposed to, but she was carrying it to protect herself from her ex-husband.
Right.
And when they found out that she had registered the gun, they fucking arrested her for carrying it. Back in 55, they were doing this shit on TV in California. That's how long California's been under the fucking gun of the anti-gunners.
Well, you also have to remember also, but that series is fiction, but it does.
No, it wasn't. It was absolutely based on reality. They depict a real case. It's not fiction. Names are changed to protect the innocent.
The Dragnet was real?
Happened. Yes. It says at the beginning and the end of the show, the story you're about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay. Well, then, there you go. California's been doing it longer than everybody else.
I got a couple of articles that if we ever get back to the early watch, I'm going to bring up on the show about the history of gun control. And, this argument that we face today is the same fucking argument they faced in the 60s when that came about, back in the 30s when the whole bullshit of 34 came about. It's the same fucking argument. They just rehash it. And people fucking fall for it over and over again. We really need to bring that out to the forefront, with documentation. Yes, they said this will cut crime. No, it did not. Every fucking time it did not. And they keep bringing the same shit back up.
Okay, let me go over this article. All right.
If I feel like it, I might.
But a 15-year-old girl with a gun saved her family from a violent attacker threatening to kill them. Uh, this past Wednesday, a North Carolina woman named Chandra Neerman was being choked and beaten by her boyfriend, Stephen Kelly, in plain view of her three children. Kelly threatened to slit the woman's throat and kill everyone in the house. That was all the woman's kids, one son, age 12, two daughters, age 15 and 16, needed to hear. Uh, the boy went and got his mother's gun. The 15-year-old girl took the gun from her brother, took aim at the boyfriend, Kelly, and fired twice, killing him. Remember, this is as this man was choking his mother, or her mother.
Good shot, sweetie.
One of the bullets fragmented and grazed her sister's leg, but fortunately that injury was minor. The girl was hospitalized, treated, and released the next day. A fate much better than what might have happened. Upon investigation, deputies found Neerman covered in bruises from the incident. They also learned that Kelly was a convicted felon who had carried his own illegally possessed gun in the house and had used it to terrorize the family on previous occasions. Upon seeing the evidence, the DA made the decision, we'd all make good riddance, Mr. Kelly. No charges will be filed against the woman or her children.
By them, but the feds ain't beyond doing it too. I don't think they will in this case, but
I don't think they will in this case, depending on just because of the facts. But hey, one less dirtbag.
Fuck yeah, I'd say kill them all.
I wouldn't necessarily say that at the same time, but
I got news for you, man. Any of my son-in-laws or future son-in-laws, which there's one left, you whoop up on my daughter, and you better fucking worry about me coming and killing you, because I'm going to.
Right. That's different. That's family. I mean, this is a story, and that you're talking about family, and yeah, you screw with someone's family. Yeah, good luck.
And you bastard realize I'm coming with fucking 44 Magnum after you. Unless I just happen to be there carrying 9mm at the time. But otherwise, I'm going to hunt you down like a fucking dog.
So, moral of the story, if you ever date Tony's daughters, be good. Just don't think anything bad. Just be good.
Not only as a daughter, you date the granddaughter when she gets old enough. Same thing.
Yep. Not going there either, but good luck to whoever does that.
Of course, by the time she's old enough, I'll probably be dead. But
you might be unlucky enough to be around still. Who knows?
Me and her dad are of the same mindset on that shit. I don't much care for the lazy bastard, but we at least agree on firearms.
Yeah.
I thought he would raise shit about me giving her one, but he didn't. He thought it was fine. I don't give a shit if he raised shit or not. I'm like, fuck you.
So, here's something interesting. While I just bought one of these myself, but apparently more law enforcement departments are adopting the SIG P320 for law enforcement.
I have real questions about why the fuck the military wasn't presented something by Smith and Wesson. I don't know if Smith and Wesson didn't want to do it. But I do not know why we're sending the profit from the guns that are supplying our military to some other fucking country.
Well, we're not, because part of the military's requirements are you must have a corporation here in the United States, and your factories must be here in the United States. So everything, the gun needs to be made here in the United States.
Else.
Yes, the profits may be going to another country, going to a company in another country in the end, but it has, the product has to be made here.
I don't give a shit if it's just made here. That's some jobs here, but there's two companies that are here.
Well, let's be honest. You can agree with me that Colt has been slipping for years.
No. I'm not talking about Colt. I'm talking about Smith & Wesson and Ruger.
They've never been that military contract centric.
Smith & Wesson was back in World War era.
Back in, the World War eras, yes. But after that, they just kind of like, don't care. So
I don't think the fucking military should have been using Berettas before this either.
Well, I don't either, but that's only because I like the 1911. I didn't think the 1911 needed to change. I mean, if they need more ammunition, they should have just used 10-round magazines. Problem solved.
Colt's problem is the fact that they relied too much on military contracts and their guns were too fucking expensive.
Right. I mean, if you're going to try and bank on a branding name, that's great, but that's not going to make you any money. Banking on that, you're only going to lose money for banking on your branding. Don't do that. If you want actual contracts, you need to be able to produce for what you say you can produce, and you need to get the military to agree. And
the public
don't do it.
So, they need to cater to the public as opposed to trying to cater to military contracts that are not really going to make them a lot of money. Yeah, and that may well be why Smith & Wesson and Ruger weren't involved in the military thing. And if that's the case, that's fine.
Glock complained that they didn't get it. And we see the reports. And the reports were that Glock hasn't really released anything new or anything, modular enough to fit the Army's profile.
But Glocks are... their whole fucking line is that.
Well, no. Their whole fucking line is the same gun, just in different calibers. That's different.
Right, exactly. But they offered, small guns, medium guns, and big guns in 9mm, which is the caliber that the fucking Army wanted.
But the problem is, unlike the P320, the Glock isn't as modular.
What the fuck has modular got to do with anything in a military gun? They want a gun that can be small or medium or large.
The
Glock makes those guns.
The point of the military testing and requirements was that the next handgun they choose had to be a modular handgun system where it could fire.
Horseshit.
That's how it was. You think it's horseshit? That's great. Good job. It's horseshit. But that's what it was written in.
All Glock needed to do was submit a 17, a 19, and a 26.
And they still would have been denied because
they don't have safeties because the Army thinks everybody's too fucking stupid to have a gun without a safety.
Well, I can agree with him on that point. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a manual safety on this one, but I don't care. A carry gun, you probably shouldn't need a manual safety.
No, you shouldn't. Not on a striker-fired gun.
No.
Because some bitch can't go off unless you pull trigger. And if you don't have trigger control, you shouldn't be carrying a fucking gun.
Anyways, let me get back to this. I know we went down a rabbit hole, but apparently the Montgomery, Alabama Police Department has announced that they will officially issue P320s to their department. The department currently serves over 200,000 citizens, and they have more than 500 sworn officers protecting the city. So they are switching over. Previously, they were relying on Glock, but the department has since made the leap to the 6-hour P320.
On a side note, I don't give a shit what police departments do. I mean, if they want to go to SIG or Glock or whatever, I don't care. The military is a little different deal. And I think the military should, the profit from those guns should come back to the United States company. As far as police departments, they can do whatever they think is best. That's fine. They can't tell me that an M&P isn't a quality enough gun to go into military service. Oh. Especially 2.0.
That's just how it is. But anyways, that's what's going on in the news. Alabama Police Department, Montgomery, decided to adopt the P320 over the Glock. Turning in their Glocks with P320s. So
either one
will do the job. Period.
Either one sends money to another country.
Unfortunately, but that's how it is right now. That's until somebody in America designs something better. But if we keep having gun control, if we keep trying to control a situation and try and make a utopian society, we will never invent anything anymore. So we're at a point where we need more people to invent more things in this country. And the only way to do that is to make sure the laws don't overshadow the inventors.
Well, that, and it's kind of hard to compete labor-wise. Because our labor force is much higher paid than many others. And that makes it difficult to compete.
But that's also because our country has a higher standard of living. Excuse me.
That's circular bullshit.
It is, but it isn't, because look at how they live in other countries. They don't have air conditioning.
I'll tell you something. My brother is a big union dude, and he just railed fucking against the whole trickle-down economics thing. And then he turns around and he touts his union for doing exactly that, because his higher standard of living trickles down to everybody else. I said, "You're the biggest hypocrite motherfucker I've ever met." And my dad's sitting there saying, "Yeah." He said, "That is absolutely hypocritical." And I'm like, "Dude, I make a third of what you make. And I don't have near the debt you do. Simply because I live on less. I buy whatever the fuck I want, except for new vehicles, which I don't want one, because I don't want to take that fucking huge hit."
Nobody does.
Evidently people do, because they're selling shit tons of them.
Yeah, well, look at where they're selling them.
I won't buy a new one.
I don't want a new one because I don't want some of that technology in there where they can turn it off on you.
Well, I don't care so much about that. I'm just at the point, that first year you buy it, when you drive that fucker off the lot, you can write a check for 30% of it gone.
Yeah.
You just gave away that. And I learned that one from my local Ford dealer, who was telling me it's stupid to buy a new vehicle. Although he's in the business to tell them. He said lots of people do it to write it off. business-wise. He said, but other people do it just because they can throw away that much money just to have a new car under warranty all the time. He said, but nowadays you buy one that's 2 or 3 years old, you still got 2 to 4 years of warranty, and you've saved 30% over a new one, and you've got a new car. So even though it's a couple years old, it's got 40,000 miles on it. That's nothing these days.
Yeah.
Hell, that was 20 years ago he told me that shit. And I bought a bunch of cars that, had 40,000 miles on them. And I would drive them till they got 100,000 and get rid of them. And I don't know, I probably spent $1,000 a year trading like that. Depending on the car, I usually buy large vehicles that retain better value, like conversion vans or pickup trucks or SUVs.
Right.
Although probably the best one I did was a Probe, Ford Probe GT. I bought it for $5,000, drove it for a year, and I got 5,600 out of it. And I didn't do nothing that fucker but drive it and change the oil. Put 2 tires on it. That's a car I loved and hated both. Man, that thing was horrible in the winter. It did not have enough heat in it to clear the windows.
Really?
You couldn't hardly drive some bitch in the winter because the side windows stay fogged up all the time. You'd have to roll them down at intersections to see. I mean, you could wipe the driver's side one off, but not the passenger side. You couldn't reach over there to it. But in the summer, that thing was a blast. Somebody to do about 100 mile an hour in one block. If you could shift it fast enough. Which is why I had to put new tires on it.
How big a tire did you put on it?
God, I couldn't remember. Whatever it took.
Right. You didn't try and go higher or lower or anything?
No, hell no. No, not on a front drive car.
Right.
Some bitch was squirrely enough as it was. That'd teach you real clearly what torque steer is all about, because it was good at that. It was also pretty good at in first and second gear. When the turbo spooled up, it would just light up the fucking front tires. It had been worked over by the performance specialist at the local garage here. It had real high wastegate settings. It would do it'd peg the boost gauge at 30. That was a pretty good little engine that Mazda built. Although as I think back to it, I had it for, 15, 16 months. And I didn't put but about 8,000 miles on it. I mean, it was almost undrivable in the winter. Too much power. Too shitty to see out the fucking windows.
So, bad AC?
I don't know that it was bad or just it wasn't enough. They had little vents blowing on the side windows, but I don't think they were big enough. And then the defroster, the way the car was built, defroster wouldn't do a hell of a lot to the sides. It did all right on the front windshield. I believe it was just the heating system was just piss poorly designed in the car. And the car probably ran pretty cool. I mean, they had a pretty low set thermostat, so it wouldn't heat up. It'd cool back off quicker. The radiator put the water in it at 160 instead of 185 or so because of that high pressure in that turbo. I never seen the car heat up though. But and it was shit in the winter. And you couldn't hardly drive it because it'd spin the damn tires too easily if there's any snow on the ground.
All right, so I want to change the topic because as much as I love talking about cars, I don't want our viewers to get too bored. I don't know if they're car people or not, but I do want to ask you some questions about hunting.
Okay.
All right. We haven't done a morning strike for a little while, so I'm sure everybody wants to know how your hunting expeditions have been going.
Well, I haven't been going much because it's too hot. But I've seen more squirrel and got more squirrel this year than I have the last 2 years put together.
Okay. Which one was the most challenging one this year?
The second time I went was most challenging because I got my ass fucking soaked cold and the heater wasn't working in my Suburban. So I had to drive all the way home freezing my fucking ass off in August.
That does sound pretty weird. And challenging. Did you bring a blanket or something with you?
I had one, but I don't know why I didn't get it out. I couldn't hold it up on me in the first place while I'm driving. I was sitting on a freaking tarp, so I didn't get the seat soaked.
Right.
Like I said, the heater didn't work because of the way it was routed. It didn't have a pump outside hooked up to the heater cord and warm it up. And the next day I fixed that shit. Got heat now.
Okay.
I had a heater spigot break off the intake manifold, and I just put a plug in it and hooked it up to the extra heater port in the radiator, and that didn't work. It wouldn't circulate. So I brought it home. I took that spout out, and I put a pipe nipple in it and fixed it. Yeah, I was in bad way that day, cold. I was cold even. I probably got home at 10 o'clock, and I got out all the wet stuff and changed clothes, and I come out here and sit under a fucking blanket in the garage here for a couple hours trying to get warm back up. I could have shut the air conditioner off and let it get warm in here, but that's too much of a pain in the ass to get back cooling off again if it got hot in the afternoon. I don't fuck with the air conditioner until it's time to shut it off for good.
So what'd you end up doing?
I just sit here under a blanket until I finally got warmed up.
That works.
Well, that's a kind of a side effect of the meds I take too. You know, when I get cold, I lose blood flow in my fingers, and that's what really takes forever to get back. And I took nitro to help with that. I was just cold, and it didn't do much.
So, have you seen anybody else that has been hunting out there recently?
Nope. I have never seen another hunter out there this year.
How is that different than previous years? Have you seen people before?
Usually there's at least 10 vehicles there. In past years, every day I went out there, there's been half a dozen to 10. One guy used to come the same area I hunted in, and he was a pretty old man. He may be sick or may have passed on. Hope not, because he's a nice guy. Me and him's the only ones that ever really harvested anything that we saw.
right.
It's the only people I've seen carrying anything out. I don't know what the hell's going on down there with hunting. Nobody's been down there. It's been hot, or not oppressively hot, but it's been really humid. And why the fuck is there two of you?
I just got NSA'd. So.
Yeah, usually that gives you the same damn picture down here. Well, I guess it is the same now.
I got NSA'd. I don't know what it is, but Chrome has been flaky lately.
I don't know what the deal is with other people not being down there.
There wasn't any sort of announcement saying they don't want people down there or anything, was there?
Nope. No, and I went up to the bulletin board at the ranger station and looked, and everything's normal there.
Sam of Anarchy 92 says we only need one night strike. Laugh out loud. Well, you only have one night strike. That was just an after shadow.
He ain't met you, so he really don't know.
I'd like to think that we had some interesting conversations in Tulsa. But
there wasn't anything weird.
I mean, I'm just a regular person. Granted, I have my own flair, we'll say, but I'm still a regular person.
I'm actually a little different in person than I am on here because I don't talk near as much in person.
No, you were actually kind of quiet. I mean, I was hoping we were going to be able to do an early watch one morning, but but we weren't.
Well, the cold fucked that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
we were going to do one on that Saturday, and then it just started fucking snowing as soon as we got to the.
Yeah, I had to stand out there in that fucking 20 degrees or whatever the hell it was for an hour and a half waiting to get in there with my gun in a fucking light jacket. I think I had a flannel shirt on under the jacket and then a fucking Wrangler denim jacket. No lining.
You should have asked me. I would have let you just borrow my my pass to get in.
I still would have had to stand there because I took a gun. So a note, if you go to Tulsa, the gun show, and you don't have to, don't take a fucking gun. There's no need.
You can buy one there, just don't take one with you. That's the takeaway from that.
It is not worth it, I can tell you. Especially if you happen to be down there in a record cold snap.
Yeah, that sucked.
Fucking one weekend, and God, I hadn't been in Tulsa in 15 or 20 years. One weekend I go, it's fucking coldest it's ever been in that son of a bitch in April. Snowed. Every goddamn bridge between the hotel and the gun show had a car wreck on it. Kids can't drive.
How about the freeway? Did you get on the freeway?
Yeah.
The freeway was awful too. People, there's crashes everywhere on the freeway as well.
That's what I said. Every bridge between the hotel and that fucking building that the gun show was in had a car wreck on it.
It was pretty bad.
And a couple of them looked like they might have been tough to walk away from.
I'm just glad that none of us that went got in any accidents.
Yeah. Well, I don't have to worry too much about that unless snow gets to be about 10 feet deep. This motherfucker can go about anywhere.
Though Cycle Camp had a problem on his way here. The axle on his minivan broke. You heard about that, right?
Yes, I did. I was surprised that they were able to get it put back together so quickly?
Well, Tulsa's a bigger city, so one would assume that they have more. I'm going to just say this: more junkyards where they have lots of parts.
Well, wasn't that a Chrysler minivan?
Yeah, it was a Chrysler or a Dodge, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to find apart.
Yeah, I was going to say, them fuckers are probably the most sold minivan ever.
They made millions of those things, so that he was good on that part for having a vehicle that is that has parts everywhere. Anyways, I think we've talked about everything we could talk about this morning.
Oh hell, we touched on shit we could talk about. It's just that I don't want to.
You don't want to right now, and neither do I. So
I had sitting yesterday and ordered a couple $100 of parts from the lawnmower so I can get out here and mow my grass.
Yeah. I was mowing mine yesterday and then it fucking rained. My
yard's about 18 inches tall.
That's pretty good.
My daughter kind of quit on me mowing. I got to do it myself, and I can't do it with a push mower.
Why did she quit on you?
Because she didn't want to do it with a push mower. Nah, she had to go and do in service for the military.
All right, she's still in the military, isn't she?
Yeah. And she was gone for like 2 weeks. And another kid was supposed to come over and do it. I didn't even know about it until she got back. And hell, I was supposed to call him and nobody told me. I didn't. And now it's just fucking tall. So I got to fix my Dixon because I need to be able to do it myself.
Right. And that's just one of those riding ones, right?
Yeah, it's a 0-turn rider. Go-kart with the mower deck, basically.
All right. Well, I guess they're gonna end it here. So thank you everyone for watching. Sticking with us this morning. And
good day, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you again when Tony decides he doesn't want to hunt.
I'm definitely going tomorrow because it's supposed to be cool and not wet, not raining. Right. It'll be wet, but I won't have to deal with that till a little later in the morning.
All right, then. We'll see you. We'll see you later, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good morning. Have a good day.
Bye.
Shut up, be infringed.